Alright, I got some tools and a Kickstarter because I'm about to go check out a bike for 200 bucks that said doesn't have a Kickstarter. So I'm bringing that to see if the engine will at least turn over. I'm going to go look at a KE100 that's a Kawasaki Enduro little bike, 100 cc's. Very similar to the one I'm rebuilding. Pretty much the same thing but built in the 90s. I got another motorbike. Surprise! Yep. Ooh.
That can be your icon.
Oh yeah. Pretty much nailed it. Wow. Now we're getting those views. This motorcycle comes as is. I'm sorry about that joke. This is the little Kawasaki I just pulled out of the mud. Honestly, a pretty cool bike. Got a lot of interest in this already. Figured I'd talk about what I actually do with these motorcycles. I think, I don't know, you might watch this and get in the impression that I'm collecting a lot of them for myself, or I'm gonna fix them all. That's never the point. The point here is to make money. That's it. That's it. That's all. I'm hungry. Sick of being hungry. I'm eating, you know. Past 2 months, I paid off over $8,000 in debt. Just buying and selling things. I don't work a normal job anymore. This is what I do. Every single day I wake up, look for deals. Now at this point, other people know this. Someone else sent me, another motorcycle flipper who was like, I know this is what you do. Sent me this. He was like, this is 200 bucks. Go buy this right now. It's 20 minutes from your house. So I did. So I get a lot of that. The Chappie was sent to me by a dealership through a friend who, does a bunch of stuff with them. Through Nutter, actually, who you guys have met through this channel. He's friends with a dealership in Massachusetts. That's how I got the Chappie, the other little Yamaha that I sold for $450. Anyway, so if you're ever watching this, getting frustrated, like, why doesn't he get them running? Because that would take work and that would take money. You feel? Trying to make cash here. Trying to make cash. So some of these might be worth a little bit of money. My F7 I put some money into. But I thought this Kawasaki might be there. I actually just went through it a little more, and it's honestly it's got some pretty questionable issues going on. I can tell it's been dropped pretty damn hard. But the bad news, the worst news that I've seen is that it's missing the plug for the oil fill hole. So what you do is you fill your oil from here after you've plugged it up down there until it spills out there, and then you replace this. Well, last time someone did this, they didn't replace this. That's a pretty important screw, and if I hadn't noticed that and just driven away, which would have been stupid, which I wouldn't have done, if I had gotten this started, I could have broken things in the bike. Regardless, that's the biggest thing. The good news about that is that it did spill oil all over my car. Thankfully, that was in the way of it. So, anyway, that's the purpose here, is to get bikes back on the road by giving them to other people. For a good deal. We are purveyors of modest dreams over here, you feel? So this 1996, I think I said 95 on my postings wrong. I'm trying to sell for $450, and I've got a lot of interest on this. So I'll make 250 bucks. All I did was drive 20 minutes, load this into my car, and come back. I got into motorcycles and really mopeds when I was younger because I loved it. It was super fun. And after a while, you start to notice, the prices of things like it's a stock market. And you guys remember, I was playing a little stocks. It's really hard to make even 30% on a stock. It's not hard for me to make 30% on a motorcycle or a car. When I bought this bike, when I went to go look at it, it didn't have a kick pedal. It said so in the auction. And you can hear it turns over. That's what matters to me on a bike. Because if it doesn't do that, someone's got to open up the head and try and get it to turn over. Try and free the piston in there, and that may or may not work for them. No one really wants to do that, to be honest. Really reduces the value of your project bike. So does getting the kick pedal stuck on there wrong. Anyway, so that's really all I look for in a project bike. Is a turnover. Sometimes I check the spark, but You know, in my experience, I can usually figure out the spark, but in my experience, I don't want to crack that cylinder head open. You know, I don't know. This one's been dropped a bunch. It's pretty fugly in a lot of ways, to be honest. Yeah, oof, looking nice over here. Cool looking bike though, you know? Intense. Yeah. Kids like this bike, dude. Like if you're in like high school, early college right now, this is very nostalgic for you. You know, if you're a boomer, you're like, that? This doesn't even have 1,000 miles on it, bro. Doesn't even have 1,000 miles. Harsh. 10 years ago or so, I probably flipped my first car. I saw a Honda Element that was like right down the street from me, listed for $3,000. I went and checked it out. It was horrible. I offered $900. The guy said no. I walked out. He chased me out and said, sure, I'll give it to you. I had about, I don't know, $1,500 to my name maybe at that point, you know? So when I came home, my partner was like, what did you just buy? Because there was surf wax melted all over the dashboard. There was literally bags of trash in this car. There was an accident in the rear, had 212,000 miles on it, and it had a screw in the tire that I drove home on. Well, I sold that in less than a week, few days, because I put it on eBay. It got picked up right quick for $1,800, doubled my money, and someone came and picked it up. Weirdest story, actually. They came from Mexico, like out of the country. I thought, first off, it's going to be a scam. No, they showed up. They were from Mexico. All they do is flip Hondas, family cars. Showed up in a Pampa Accord with a big car hauler behind them, full of cars. And they paid me in cash, which I know this is not what laundered money means, but the money was all $100 bills, crisp, clean, beautiful, and it smelled like fresh, clean laundry. No clue. I spent them. They spent like money. So, weird story, right? That was my first real flip, you know? I accidentally had flipped some things in the past, and, well, flipped a few ATVs on my head. You know, that was my first time making money off a car. Anyway, ever since then, it's a little addicting to me. I like to see things, understand their values, and try and resell it. So that's the point here. I don't really care about the rest of it. I care about eating, you know, and I'm hungry, literally. Before I started doing this, I was always hungry. Now I got cash. Well, you can see last night I put the forks back on this. I still don't know if I'm happy with it. I might reassemble that all again. Either way, a bike like this is a little different than a bike like this or a bike like that. Both of those bikes are pretty trashed. But this bike is like nice and shiny and such. So you can see the carburetor's still off. I have to order a new carburetor, so I will fix this bike. And I'll either sell this for more or I'll keep this just in my personal collection because it is sentimental for me. But if I do sell this bike, I'm going to definitely try and get over $750, close to 1,000 or 1,200, honestly. Which I know is a lot. If you're watching this and you're like, holy hell, you would charge that much for a moped? Yes, I would charge 1,000 or 1,200 for this. You couldn't buy a new Chinese moped for that. I mean, maybe you could, but it would be crap. This thing's awesome. It's vintage. It's dope, and it'll be running perfect with a brand new carb, clean gas, everything. Kick it, zoom. Yeah, 1,200 bucks. Look at the chrome. Don't even ask. So good. This right here, though, this right here is going to be my big money maker. Selling this week. This week, this is gone. I'm hoping Saturday this is gone. I'm hoping Saturday we're speaking it into existence. This is turning into $3,000 in my pocket. Thank you very much. Thank you, world. Thank you, Saturday. Thank you, Jeep. It's going to be great. This is the big payday this week. Boom. Then we move on to more little motorcycles. We keep flipping those. Boom. Move up to, I don't know, houses? Who knows? Who knows? Yo, guys, I didn't talk to you about it, but I got offered a trade for land for this. The land did have a little bit of debt, about $1,000 of debt. It was 2 acres, and it was way too far north for me to want it, but I got offered land for this. Turned it down. You may call me an idiot. I don't care. I didn't want it. And, you know, sometimes land is worth less than $3,000 if it's too far north and in the wrong spot.